Guys, it's Nerdydollgirl again here with Kai and my new girl. I'm gonna put Kai down for a sec. He's a good boy. So this is my new dolly that I opened in my last video, or one of my last videos. So I've got her all dressed, and I love this outfit. I can't remember, I think it's A something, this girl who makes mostly Blythe clothes on Etsy, and I messaged her and asked if she could make Tana size clothes, and this actually fits her. So it says, when I grow up, I want to be a vampire. And then she's got her little bat pants by Guppy Kisses, and she's got this green wig with the little bow that I got at Ardene's, that's it. She's got her little earrings, which I love, and a cool wig by Monstrose Designs, and then just a little hair elastic I put on her arm to make it look like a bracelet. I can't speak today. A lot will come out. Oh, she's got her leg on backwards. So yeah, she's a rescue doll, and I just love her. I think she's awesome. I think I might paint her lips a different color, but for now she's gonna stay as is. And obviously my beautiful Kai, he's my favorite doll right now, and he is just so beautiful, and his fingers are all mixed up. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is my beautiful boy Kai. So I decided that I would do the Dollitarium's new bad dolls versus good dolls, or bad dolls and good dolls. Sorry, I can't remember which way it was. But the Dollitarium is awesome. So if you have never seen her, you guys should check out her channel. She's super funny. I love the way she tells stories and everything, and plus she's new to YouTube, guys. Let's go over and support her, and you know, give her positive feedback for what she's doing and everything, because it really helps. So the good dolls and the bad dolls. So the good dolls are supposed to be dolls from your childhood that you wish you could get back, and I believe the bad dolls is dolls that you don't like. So I don't know how long this video is going to be, because I do like to talk, but this tag is kind of hard for me, because I have had a lot of good dolls in my childhood, and I'll explain more as to why it's kind of hard for me. But for the first question, I don't like gory, creepy dolls. I used to have living dead dolls, and I thought they were interesting, but I didn't necessarily like love them. I was more like, I found them and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and so I bought it, and then I'm like, yeah, it's really not my kind of thing, so I sold it. There's also these dolls that had like the pale skin, and I think they were vampires, and they had like cool different eye colors and piercings, and they were like the size of a Barbie doll. I like those kind of dolls. I like kind of the vampire, you know, I appreciate those. I appreciate different sculpts and different kind of creatures that people make, but I'm not comfortable with the really gory dolls with like blood and cuts all over themselves, and that definitely comes from being someone who has lived through a lot of stuff, and someone who was a self-harmer and still struggles with that. It's seeing those kind of upsetting, violent things just makes me more and more upset. And like TV shows and all that sort of stuff. Dolls that are like that, it's just, it makes me feel, and, but that is my personal opinion, and that's the kind of dolls that I personally don't like. As every other YouTuber will say, these are our opinions. That doesn't mean that, we're right or that you can't love them. But anyways, I'm afraid of those kind of dolls. Now, there are other dolls that I'm afraid of that are not to do with the BJD hobby. So I used to collect antique dolls. Like, I used to collect like Amon Marseille. I love those kind of like antique fashion dolls from the days ago, and I love googly eyed dolls. I will have to mention that in my good part to do with googly eyed dolls. But a lot of China antique dolls or bisque dolls or any really dolls from like 100, 200 years ago, probably not 200 years ago, but maybe, I don't know. Anyways, I can't count. But I find them kind of creepy because there's just something about something old that has some sort of essence on them that you can't necessarily explain. And I find with older dolls, you get a lot of that, where you feel like they have a history to tell you, and that they know stuff, or I don't know, just if you have seen any horror movies with dolls, they are usually not very nice. And like I said, I don't like those kind of movies, but I mean, there's Chucky, there's there's lots of movies about dolls. Now, Chucky is not an old doll, but when I was a kid, I can't remember what it was called, but there was a movie where there was a China doll and she came to life. My parents did not know that it was a horror movie. They just saw that it was a doll movie, and I didn't really understand that it was not appropriate. So I watched it. It terrified the life out of me. And so ever since then, I don't like antique dolls to an extent. Like I said, I've had them, but they definitely have some sort of like residue that is hard to explain. And that's kind of creepy. So I don't like those. They're fascinating to look at. Don't get me wrong. They are fascinating to look at. But there's something. And the other one is clowns. Oh my goodness. I am so afraid of clowns. Like, you guys don't know. I find them so creepy. My daughter's getting to that age where she wants to see things like It. And I'm sitting here going, why would you want to see that? Why would you want to see that? It's so creepy. But she doesn't get creeped out by them. She thinks they're funny. So, unfortunately, she went to a friend's house and watched one without asking. But she really enjoyed it. Don't worry. It was dealt with. But scary clowns. Clowns are just freaky. So like having toy clowns is no. Did you guys ever see Poltergeist? Now, you might be like, well, Tiffany, why did you watch Poltergeist? You are afraid of scary movies. That's not completely true. I like creepy movies. I like movies that are kind of scary, but not gory. There are parts in the movie that are gory, but they're very Like I think there's only like one scene in the first one that's really gory. It's something to do with him, the guy going in the bathroom, and but I like ghost related stuff, so because I can sense ghosts and I've seen ghosts and everything like that, I kind of don't have a problem with that kind of movie. And I could go into a long speech about all the things I hate about horror movies, or all the things that are in a horror movie that have come up that have upset or scared me. Upset. That's a new word for upset and scared. But in that movie, there was a toy clown that grabbed her brother and swung and like wrapped his arm around his neck and pulled. Scared the bloomin' life out of me. And then I find out years later that he actually got choked by that clown. They actually had to stop the filming because the clown got stuck around his neck. Clowns, they're evil. Oh. So yes, those are the kind of dolls that I do not like. And then let's go to childhood dolls. Now, I was born in the 80s, so I love 80s stuff. I love 80s dolls and all that sort of stuff. I collected a lot of toys growing up and dolls. I had a collection of China dolls that I would play with, not like a China doll, but like, but they were in good condition when I had them, like wonderful condition. I was very careful with them. But I loved playing with them. I loved playing with my Barbie dolls. I was huge into my Barbie dolls. I would have long conversations, like plays about them. Quite often it would be where they go to high school and they meet a boy and, you know, they're trying to date, and I had a lot of interesting stories to tell. The most embarrassing is when I was a kid, I loved Barbie, and I knew that I kind of understood that once you wanted to have a baby, things happen. So when I was a kid, I went into the bathroom and I put my two dolls that had no clothes on top of each other and shut the door. And my mom, she found them like that because I put them inside the bathroom closet with like right on the face cloths, like the things kids do. I loved my glowworms. I loved playing with my strawberry shortcake, my rosebud, and there was other dolls. I don't know if it was Rosebud that came with a little caterpillar that you could sit on, and it was like a little four-wheeled sit upon. I don't know what that. I can't think. But I loved that toy. I loved the little caterpillar that you could ride on. I loved Rosebud. I loved that whole storyline with the roses, and she lived in the briar, and you know, the bad guys and the good guys, and they were all flowers, and I love that. And I loved playing with my glowworms. And there was these dolls by Mattel, and they were like moon dolls. So like the one came with a lion that had wings, and can't remember. I think one might have come with a polar bear. But I know that I had one and my sister had the other one. And my sister never let me play with her dolls. She wouldn't play Barbies with me. She wouldn't let me play with her dolls. So I don't remember which one was mine, but I know I really wanted to play with the other one. Growing up, my parents were really good about buying presents and buying things for us that we really loved. Like when my mom went and sat for hours to get Cabbage Patch dolls and stuff. But unfortunately, once I became older, and I moved out of my house, I left a lot of my toys and stuff because I moved into an apartment. There wasn't the room. My parents still lived in the same house that I had grown up in, and you know, my room was pretty much the same way it was when I left. Then my dad, God bless his soul, he decided one day that I had enough stuff and that I didn't need these things anymore, and he got a big dumpster and he threw them all in. So that was heartbreaking for me. My toys were everything to me. Like, they were my friends. They were my escape from a really rough childhood. You know, they're what brought me joy. And for them to be taken away from me like that and thrown away, that broke my heart. I had my little ponies that I play with. I had She-Ra. I had my Barbies. Now, I was able to take my Barbies. I was able to take my She-Ra and my action figures. But those were things that I was still collecting, and so I had them in my apartment because I never thought anything of it. So I've lost all that. So over the period, I've, you know, tried to collect the dolls that I've missed out on. I have a couple strawberry shortcakes. I have a large collection of My Little Ponies, which someday I really have to have a little tour for you guys to see. But like, there's toys that I've never been able to get back. There's little tiny characters with like flowers, flower tops, and they came in a little house that was pink. There was these dolls that are like little, they're like little gems that you could open up, and then it was a little person inside, like the little arms and the legs and the head, and they would all flip back inside. I had a little bird that I think was from Mattel. She was really pretty. She had like curly hair and then a curly tail at the end, which made no sense because it was a bird. But I loved them. I had a lot of amazing toys that got thrown away. Maybe that's part of why I hoard so much stuff because of what happened. And then the one other toy, well, the one Christmas present that I asked for every year, which I never got, which is fine. I mean, it was expensive, but I always wanted a Power Wheel. That was what I wanted the most. And then I think I was 12 or 13. We went to a doll show, and they had these googly-eyed dolls that are like, their eyes are not googly, but they're like the big wide eyes. They're like Campbell soup kids. And there was one that was a nun, and she was so cute and so adorable. But my parents said, no, you shouldn't get that one. You know, it's old, you can't really play with it. And so I didn't. And ever since then, I've regretted not getting that doll. So I guess that would also be the other doll that I would want back. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff still from my childhood that I was able to rescue. But toys from my time period, like, I love them. It's very reminiscent of, you know, that time when I was sort of innocent, unless I was putting my dolls in the bathroom. But, you know, I love to have them. But in another way, when I bought the strawberry shortcakes, it wasn't quite the same, you know, because it wasn't them. It wasn't the ones I played with for so long. But I'm slowly collecting some of the stuff. The Gem dolls, like, not Gem, because not Gem. I have Gem, because she was with my Barbies. But the little dolls that are like the shape of a gem, and then you open it up and there's the body, or the hands and the everything. They are dumb expensive on eBay and on Etsy, so I probably won't get any of those. There were these dolls called Sea Wings, I think it is, and I remember going to my friend's house and she had them, and we'd play with them, but she would never let me play with them very often. Like, it was like once in a blue moon I would get to see them and touch them and stuff like that. But she was very protective of them. I think because she knew how much I wanted them. But yeah, like, I never got those. I always wanted those. And then again, I found them when I was older. I found 2 that were in a secondhand bin or something. But again, when you're a kid, there's just something really magical about toys, and you don't necessarily always get that feeling back. So yeah, that's my story. That's the good and the bad and the good tag that Dollitarium made. I think it was really good. I love hearing people's stories. Celestia, aka Nancy, hi sweetie. I watched yours and I loved it. I'm trying to do everybody's that has done it. So that's my plan. If I do watch it and I don't have a chance to comment, just know I'm trying to watch them all. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.